Let me ask you something, and don't scroll away from this. If I pulled your last 20 trades right now, would they show discipline? Or would they expose that you're just reacting to the noise? Be honest. Are you trading your plan or are you trading Twitter? Are you following structure or chasing emotion? Because elite traders don't lose to the market. They lose to themselves. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The crowd feels safe until it wipes out your account. So the real question is this. Are you brave enough to build conviction, or are you still hiding in Jericho with everyone else? Stay with me now, because by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly where you've been giving your power away. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Today's story is about Rahab, a woman who lived in the city of Jericho. When Joshua sent 2 Israelite spies to scout the land before the Israelites entered it, Rahab hid them in her home to protect them from the king of Jericho, who wanted to capture and kill them. She placed them on a roof and covered them with stalks of flax so they wouldn't be discovered. When officials came searching, she boldly misdirected them, saying the men had already left the city. Rahab made this risky decision because she believed that the God of Israel was the true and powerful God. She had heard how he parted the Red Sea and defeated mighty kings, and she didn't want to stand against him. In exchange for protecting the spies, she asked that she and her family be spared when Jericho was attacked. The spies agreed, telling her to tie a scarlet cord in her window as a sign. When the walls of Jericho later fell, Rahab and her family were saved. Her courage and faith changed her destiny. She not only survived, she became part of Israel's community and is even listed in the genealogy of Jesus. Her faith is one of bold faith, strategic action, and redemption. Elite traders are Rahab on the wall. While the entire city of Jericho trusted its massive walls, Rahab knew something deeper was unfolding. She had insight others dismissed. She had conviction others ignored. And when pressure knocked at her door, she didn't panic. She acted strategically. That's elite traders. The market is Jericho. The headlines are the king's messengers pounding with urgency. Fear gets loud. Doubt gets persuasive. The crowd reacts emotionally. But elite traders don't move because of noise. They move because of preparation. Rahab didn't hide the spies carelessly. She covered them with flax. Intentional, deliberate protection. Elite traders do the same with risk management. Stops are not weakness. They are protection. Position sizing is not fear, it is foresight. And the scarlet cord in the window, that's the trading plan, the rule set, the non-negotiable signal that marks your house so chaos passes over it. And here's the real edge. Rahab aligned herself with the force that was actually winning before it was obvious. Elite traders don't marry bias, they marry truth. They don't argue with momentum to prove they're smart, they align with it to stay profitable. When the walls fall, and they always do, the only house left standing is the one marked with discipline. Be counted among the elite traders. Let's be honest about something. Elite traders don't struggle because they lack information. They struggle because it is psychologically easier to follow noise than to stand alone in conviction. Here are several deeply human reasons why. We crave belonging. At the core of it, we are wired for connection. Thousands of years ago, separation from the tribe meant vulnerability. So when the market gets loud and everyone online seems aligned in one direction, something inside us relaxes. Agreement feels safe. It feels like protection. Standing in conviction can feel isolating. Taking a trade that contradicts popular sentiment can feel like stepping outside the village alone. Even when your analysis is solid, your nervous system whispers, "What if they're right?" So you conform, not because it's logical, but because it soothes the fear of exclusion. And once belonging starts driving decisions, something else quietly slips in. Noise feels like certainty. The louder the opinion, the more confident it appears. Dramatic headlines, urgent alerts, bold predictions, they create the illusion of clarity. Volume masquerades as truth, but developing conviction requires sitting in uncertainty. It requires saying, "I've done my analysis and I trust my plan." The quiet confidence doesn't spike adrenaline. It doesn't create hype. So many traders gravitate towards noise because it feels decisive, even when it lacks depth. And when we lean into loud certainty, we again avoid something even heavier. Responsibility is heavy. If you follow the crowd and lose, your ego has protection. You can blame the analyst, the influencer, the breaking news. You were wrong, but you were wrong with everyone else. Conviction removes that cushion. When you act based on your plan, you own the outcome. That level of responsibility exposes you. It forces growth, and growth can feel uncomfortable. So many traders unconsciously outsource decisions just to avoid the weight of accountability. But even when we accept responsibility, there's another layer working against us. Emotional intensity overrides discipline. Markets activate the threat system. A sharp red candle feels personal. A fast green candle feels urgent. Your nervous system reacts as if something important is at stake because financially, it is. Following noise provides instant direction. It tells you what to do right now, reliving the emotional spike. But conviction requires pause. It requires sitting through the emotional surge without acting impulsively. Most traders haven't trained that muscle yet, so they react to feelings instead of following process. And when emotion fuels reaction, activity starts to look like productivity. So then we confuse activity with progress. The crowd is always moving, entering, exiting, reacting. Action looks impressive. It feels productive. Sitting still feels passive. But elite trading often requires waiting. Waiting for confirmation, waiting for structure, waiting for alignment. Patience doesn't feel glamorous. It feels like you're missing out. So traders jump into crowded trades just to feel engaged. Noise stimulates. Conviction often waits. And waiting introduces yet another discomfort. We fear being early, and sometimes even alone. Even when your setup is valid, price may not move immediately. That delay feels like rejection. Doubt creeps in and you start scanning social media for reassurance. The crowd offers emotional validation. If thousands agree, it feels safer. But real conviction sometimes requires standing alone before confirmation arrives. Many traders abandon solid setups prematurely because solitude feels more threatening than being wrong collectively. And beneath all of this sits perhaps the most powerful force of all. Ego wants to be right, not disciplined. The crowd feeds ego. Big predictions, confident calls, dramatic screenshots. It feels powerful to align with bold narratives. But conviction, rooted in discipline, is quieter. It says, I will exit if my stop is hit. It says, I don't need to be right, I need to be consistent. Ego hates that humility. Ego prefers heroic wins over steady execution. So traders drift towards noise because it flatters identity even when it damages capital. So first, let me say this clearly. if you've followed the crowd before, if you've reacted to noise, if you've abandoned your plan mid-trade, you are not weak. You are human. The market presses on the deepest parts of your identity: safety, provision, competence, legacy. Of course it feels intense. Of course your nervous system reacts. There is nothing wrong with you. The work is simply learning how to respond differently. Second, understand that unlearning crowd behavior is not about becoming cold or robotic. It's about becoming anchored. You've likely had seasons in your life where you had to stand alone, professionally, personally, maybe even spiritually. That strength is already inside you. Trading simply exposes whether you trust it. And exposure isn't punishment, it's refinement. If you've ever felt embarrassed after a trade, second-guessing yourself, wondering why you didn't stick to the plan, pause the self-criticism. Shame does not build discipline. Awareness does. Every impulsive click is data. Every deviation is feedback. Elite growth begins the moment you replace condemnation with curiosity. Give yourself credit for even wanting to improve. Many people blame the market forever. You are here and you're reflecting. That means you care about stewardship. That means you want integrity between your strategy and your behavior. That desire alone separates you from the majority. Growth starts with ownership, and you are already stepping into it. Remember that discipline is a muscle, not a personality trait. No one wakes up naturally consistent. Consistency is trained in small, quiet decisions. Respecting the stop, waiting for confirmation, walking away when emotions spike. Every time you choose your rules over your feelings, you are strengthening something internal inside you. And that is self-governance. But you don't have to navigate this journey alone. Trading can feel isolating, especially when you're trying to build conviction in a world addicted to noise. But community changes everything. Accountability sharpens clarity. Shared wisdom strengthens resolve. When you align your financial journey with spiritual grounding, discipline stops feeling lonely and starts feeling purposeful. And finally, if you've been trying to do this purely in your own strength, consider this. What if trading isn't just about charts and profits? What if it's about stewardship? What if inviting God into your trading changes not just your results, but your peace? When you anchor your decisions in faith, patience becomes easier. Ego softens and fear loosens its grip. If you're ready to trade with wisdom instead of noise, I invite you to join our trading Bible study. Let's build skill, conviction, and spiritual alignment together. You've got this. Peace and blessings.